Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Soft Left, where it's a panel show where comedians hash out news and events as they unfold in a COVID new world. I'm Sandra Bettolini, and I'm happy to be with you tonight here. This show, we get to talk about regional, national, international, and celebrity noise from all over the planet. Soft Left, the opposite of hard right, or the other side of hard right. So you know what? Sit back, take a soft left as we weave our way around the news and events. Now, I just want you all to know that this is a donor-supported show, so please follow the link at the bottom of the screen to donate to this broadcast. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of this show, please email softleft@gmail.com. And for all our viewers out there, this show is followed by, at the very end, a question period. So it's kind of like, the question period in the House of Commons, but less cunty. I can promise you that. So if you have any questions, please compile them and fire them off at the end of the broadcast. Anything you'd like us to answer or discuss, we're really pumped to do that. So I've arrived at the, I don't know, I can't speak. It's one of these days. I'm trying to get the words out. But now we're going to meet our wonderful panel. So first off, poet, lyricist, baritone, love a brother who I've developed a new language with. It's Phil Luzzi.
Hello. Nice to be back, Sandra.
Oh my God. So happy to have, so happy that we're back again this week.
For another episode.
Yeah. Do you know what I just realized? That when you know how we've created a new language, it's called constructed language or conlang.
Okay.
And I'll tell you
conlang?
So we speak conlang, and it means that it's a language whose phonology, grammar, and vocabulary have been consciously devised as opposed to naturally derived.
Amazing. Can I add this to my resume?
Yeah, I think you can.
Oh my God. I'm calling my manager tomorrow morning.
Forget about it. So we're gonna go to our next panelist. My neighbor, two doors down, and street fighter. It's Carol Zoccoli.
Yeah, the street fighter. Right here, Eastern Avenue. That's my fighting place.
Yeah, I know. It's so tough on Eastern, isn't it? It's just like shit's going. Thank God, it's such a low key street.
Oh my God. No, it's great. Believe me, it's great. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I think people are too relaxed. I'm more afraid now than I was at the beginning of all of this, because I think people are too relaxed, and I'm getting more neurotic.
Or they appear that way. Like I see that. I feel that too. I'm like, I do feel like someone's just gonna lose it out of nowhere. That's what I feel like is going on right now.
I think I'm.
What's that?
I think I'm going to be the person who's going to lose it out of nowhere.
Well, if you are, let me know. I'll be there to back you up.
All right.
Amazing. And next, as sweet as candy, who takes a hard line on anything right of center, it's Candice Gregoris.
Woo! Hi, Sandra. Happy to be here.
Oh, happy to see you. I know you're wearing a really, what is your look tonight? You described it?
I said it's goth librarian. That's like the look I'm trying to work tonight, goth librarian. Look, I even brought a cat.
This is perfect. That's so perfect. What can I take out of the library tonight? Wink, wink.
Well, I think you'll search the card catalog for something in social sauciness.
Ooh, yeah. That is definitely you, social sauciness. And guys, last up on our panel, we have former insurance agent and distributor of coconut oil. It's Monty Scott.
What's up, Sandra? Insurance broker. I was not an agent.
Okay, I was like, I almost said adjuster, and I'm like, I don't know for sure, but so it was
definitely not trained to be an adjuster, but I would give it a shot.
What's the difference between a broker and an agent?
Oh, agent's only one company.
Oh,
broker is numerous.
Oh, you just broker your way through things. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I'm splitting hairs, Sandra. What the hell do I care?
Yeah.
Agent is perfectly fine.
Okay. Are you still distributing coconut oil?
Yeah, if you need some.
Really?
Well, sure. I actually, it's a Vietnamese company. They would bring it right to my house, but they've disappeared. I can't find them. I've even looked in Vietnam.
What's happened?
I don't know. They've disappeared. Crystal coconut oil. They're just missing.
Oh wow! Like since when?
Like a couple years.
Oh, okay.
I'm buying my coconut oil at retail like a schmuck.
Are you still brushing your teeth with it?
Oh yes.
Oh wow, guys!
I never use toothpaste.
We might get a close look of Monty's teeth very soon. And I just want to say, and I just want to, lastly, we have our queen in the booth, mobstress supreme, Joanne Britton. Show your beautiful face, girl. Yeah.
What up, people? Enjoy the show. I'm the wizard behind the curtain. You're not supposed to see me.
Yeah.
You will be though.
Yeah.
You will be.
I just thought I'd bring you up, and so we could rock it out. Guys, we're going to start our broadcast tonight. Tonight, we begin in the pandemic-filled streets of Toronto, where a war has been waging. I know. What war, you ask? No one's been in the streets, really. But I want to welcome you to Toronto's towing industry turf war that's, full of organized crime, murders, attempted murders, assaults, and arsons. It's been a joint investigation by police called Project Platinum. Okay, they found like a tow truck driver slumped over in his seat after he'd been shot in a parking lot at an apartment complex in North Toronto. Right, and it was the climax to a week where burned remains of tow trucks were found all over the city. Okay, so just some of the garbage things that the towing industry is doing. They're fraudulently inflating costs, even causing collisions. That blew my mind. I was like, causing collisions for real? So they've been collaborating with auto repair shops, physiotherapy clinics, and then some insurance companies, maybe Monty can speak to this, have banded together with a law firm in Vaughan who to fight it, but then they became targets of violence, threats, and extortions. You know what I'm going to say? You know what I have to say right now? All criminal roads lead to Vaughan, And the police have identified 4 distinct criminal organizations involved. Now, 4 distinct. I was like, who? So I compiled a list of criminal organizations in Canada. Here they go: the Rivard Organization, the Red Scorpions, the Bacon Brothers. That is like literally my favorite. The Irish Mob, West End Gang, Dubois Brothers, the United Nations Gang, the Punjabi Mafia, and then we got the Cosa Nostra and the Ndrangheta. And in the Cosa Nostra, we've got the Rizzutos, the Kuntera Caruana Mafia clan, the Catronis. And in the Ndrangheta, we've got the Lupino crime family, the Musitano, and the Papalia, all from Hamilton. Phil might be able to give a little comment on this. And then the Siderno group and the Comiso Indrina. Okay? So this is what's been happening in our city this week. And the cops were saying that, the towing industry is full of ways to make money. First of all, they inflate the tow bill, then they store, the storage costs and moving vehicles around so owners can't find them. One time I walked to Commissioners to get my car because that's where I thought it was. And then these fucks told me my car was in Scarborough. So then I took 2 buses to Scarborough and they wouldn't give me my car because I wanted to pay with my mother's credit card. I literally sat on the floor and wept like I was at a funeral. I more like wailed. I was like, I need my car. I was like, the more it stays here, the more I have to pay. So anyways, here we are in the midst. Well, I don't know. Is it the midst of a war? Is the war wrapping up? I don't know.
Well, here I just see, obviously this is a mob situation, and I think it just happens like with water. It's privatization just corrupted everything. And now there's this, like, it's a dirty business. Even when you go pick up your car in a tow lot, you feel like you're doing you feel like you're stealing your own fucking car back.
That's great.
Like, it's shady. So I don't know, maybe like the only solution would be like a city-run tow business. If you're on the road and your car breaks down, it has to be repaired by someone from the city.
Yeah.
I don't know how that'll happen because the city is probably like feeding off of a whole bunch of like mob endorsements also. So, and the circle continues.
But apparently this investigation started in February. And my question is, this has been going on forever. Why now?
You could arguably say that the tow truck industry is just organized crime. Like it's like all of a sudden tow trucks got involved in organized crime and like they're founded on organized crime.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting they would bring it up now. Like you get to the bottom of it during the pandemic, as opposed to all the other years in the calendar.
Yeah.
Well, and also probably just it's more noticeable now because people, for the most part, are off the streets. So you're going to notice things like this that happen more. I'm sure there were things being lit on fire all the fucking time we never heard about.
True.
Yeah,
You
I
know
guess
what I mean?
apparently there was like a bunch of I guess tow trucks on fire in a lot in Vaughan. Just a bunch of like raging fires. I mean,
Hardly a day goes by I don't walk by a flaming tow truck. You know how it is.
I can't stop thinking like how fucked up we are when we have to understand the problems inside the towing industry. You know what I mean? It's too complex.
Yeah, the labyrinth of the tow truck industry.
What's going on? It's impossible. It's impossible to understand. I don't know where I am. I don't know.
I mean, it's like an industry. It's like when you look at comedy and all the messed up ways it exists. It's like people just create relationships and rackets, you know. And when you look at like when I started googling all those crime families, I'm like, wow. I mean, Canada's got lots of. I mean, I guess like every country does, but you know, apparently Canada is a safe haven for Italian mafia. So that's why there's a lot of them here.
Well, the sentences aren't as big in Canada as they are in the U.S., so that helps.
Oh.
And going to jail in Canada must be better, like, you know, than the U.S.
Oh God.
It's better than a lot of countries, really. Jail's not, you know, better in Canada.
It really is.
Yeah.
So I did a show in the Winnipeg, Stony Mountain. I did a show for 200 inmates there.
Wow.
Wow.
And how did that go?
Yeah, it was great. It was great, and it was a part of the Reformation system. And apparently, Canada has such a good Reformation system that actually the Canadians go all around the world to teach the world how to reform prisoners.
Wow.
You're like the Brazilian Canadian Johnny Cash of comedy.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it was so great. Like when I saw like that I was performing for like 200 males, they were all male, like face tattoo, and you know, like, and they were laughing, and I actually had a good set, and I was like, man, I am a comedian. And like any internet comment, we're not gonna shake me anymore. Like, you know,
If I can make it here, I can make it anywhere.
fuckers, okay?
Yeah, it's not New York you need to make it. It's at a prison.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
prison.
I think that Canada should market itself as like Canada, easier for criminals.
I think we do. I think that is a slogan. That's how we get some of our immigration. Is like, you know, I don't know if you've ever been to jail here. It's pretty good.
If you could, you know, it's like probably the immigration agents are like, hey, where are you thinking of immigrating to? And they list off a couple countries, and they're like, you know what? Just so you know, easier to be a criminal in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
one
don't.
of the first questions they ask. Do you plan on being incarcerated?
Yeah, but that's how it because I had a friend who immigrated before me, and this was back in 2006. And then this friend of mine like was talking to me about Canada and all the immigration process, and I looked and I said, my God, it's gonna be.
Oh,
What's it gonna be?
tell us. You
Turn the
froze.
page.
The cliffhanger.
Oh no, she's.
Oh.
Oh, frozen time.
Zocoli, where are you?
Oh,
Carol, can you hear us?
my internet. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. We're back.
Zocoli ends all our statements with like The Sopranos.
But you know what I realized? I was like, I when I saw this story, I'm like, okay, I want to talk about it this week. And then after I was like, oh, but this has nothing to do with the coronavirus. And then even talking about this, like, you know, some guys murdered, burning cars. I'm like, oh, you know what? Whatever. Nothing, you know, it pales in comparison to the coronavirus. You know what I mean? Like this is how messed up. And like how many, I'm sure there are more people who've died in this tow truck war. I mean, I don't know.
It's been 10 minutes, 10 minutes. yeah. And you know what that means. It's time to change the subject.
Woo!
I love it.
Great.
That is the best. Okay, guys, yeah, we're going to wrap this one up with a bow, and we're going to bring you the lovely Candy Gregory.
Yeah, old people, do we even care?
Wow.
So, Sandra, I'm sure you and everyone in the panel has heard that this past week, a report was released by the Canadian Armed Forces coming out of the long-term care facilities that Quebec and Ontario asked the military to come in and assist. So, the report has come out, and Justin Trudeau commented on it. Doug Ford got emotional about it, and some of the things on there, like listening to all of it, oddly enough, it almost makes me feel like long-term care homes, like maybe they are kind of like their own tow truck industry, because it just seems like it's just for profit mobsters, except they're real estate lawyers and people with real estate connections. So the report came out, and bear in mind that the military only went into 5 homes in Ontario, only 5. And they found conditions where it was very understaffed. People didn't get the care that they needed. Hygiene was really bad. I mean, that's just surface level, because it's kind of disturbing to go into. And then looking into it more, I ended up finding out that last year, out of the over 600 long-term care facilities that we have in Ontario, only 9 of them had like unscheduled inspections that people went to. And the government, the government took away a lot of regulations. Like Doug Ford cut $34 million in their first budget from long-term care facilities. So I was just thinking about it, like when I heard like 9 out of 600 and whatever, I'm like, fucking restaurants get inspected more, right? I mean, there's a green sign in front of a restaurant in Toronto. Like, what should we do about it? And it's almost like, should we, socialize long-term care? Should it be part of our Ontario health plan?
Yes.
Is also long-term care. I was wondering what people thought.
Absolutely. Just like the internet, it should just be all included.
A utility.
Yeah.
Like Amazon. Look at long-term care homes are just another sad fucking story behind capitalism, disaster capitalism. It's like before, families used to take care of their old people. Like you didn't go, like now you hear people like, oh, we can't have this person come live in our house because we've got kids, and how are we going to take care of them? And it's like, I mean, no, and this is not a judgment on people. It's that truly people are running around. They were running around busy. And then we just put our old people they're the holders of our knowledge. I mean, it's like Indigenous elders are like the head, like the rock of communities. And they were in our culture since maybe just the last 50 years. Then all of a sudden we're like, oh, they're just crazy. Put them away. And it's like, I think people just like, yeah, they're crazy because they're speaking the truth and they don't give a shit anymore. And they should.
I remember, Sandra, old people became less useful when Wikipedia came in. So we no longer need to worry about old people as much because we don't need their stories. We heard them already.
Yeah.
I love that Doug Ford is putting out a fire that he started.
Yeah.
Naturally, he's like, oh my God, this is terrible. It's like, yeah, you did that.
I like the fact that he admits it.
Yeah.
He's okay. Not that that's an excuse, like a reason to excuse the behavior. I'm just
no, but it is a little bit refreshing if somebody's like, yeah, I did do that, and I can see now with many sick old people that maybe I made a mistake.
Right.
Because his own mother-in-law died of COVID in a nursing home.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she died.
Yeah, so this is what makes me think that it's got to take someone in his own family to pass away to care about it.
But I think that, like we said last week, it's like, yeah, this week, I'm like, I'm looking at Ford. I'm like, okay, you've done slippery things. You're doing some slippery things, perhaps. But if it was like, if he was Trump, then it would be like, okay, this guy's nuts. But he's like, literally, really changed. It seems to me like he's really changed and cares. And I don't know, I'm sure that he's still pulling favors for a lot of powerful people. But he hasn't. But what the best thing is that like the people, he's really caring for all the vulnerable people. He's put out all the stops. And yeah, okay, you know what? He made a mistake. Good. How amazing is that he's standing up to it too? I mean, we have to follow him. I mean, not home or unless he invites us.
I can be impressed with his adequate job. That doesn't mean I feel like I want to vote for him.
No. Yeah.
Right? Because I'm sort of with you there, Sandra. Like the people, I also think a big reason why people used to be able to keep their families intact and keep the elderly in their home was because people could afford it now. Like, I don't know, or people could afford it then, and no one can afford it now because everybody's just squeaking by. Who's got 3 months of savings tied up? Like, it feels like you said, it's exposing some of the things in capitalism. It just makes me feel like, yeah, this should be part of healthcare. This should be, and not just homes run by, that are socialized, but what assistance can we give people to keep families in their home and keep grandma there and keep no there.
Yeah, and
I agree with you, Candice. I just think that it's interesting that he, by cutting that kind of funding and then having that happen to his own family, all of a sudden it's real, as opposed to, that's the thing. He's been competent, but that's nothing really to cheer about just because he's been competent in this crisis. Like, congratulations on doing an adult job for being premier. But then look at he's only been in for a couple years, and look at the kind of damage he's done already. It's illustrated in this scenario.
Yeah. So I feel like whether or not, how we assess Doug Ford is really going to be how he continues to behave and whether or not, he actually lives up to some of these promises. That's when it'll mean something. So
that's what it takes. Like now, it's like the government is us. We have to stop looking to these people. They're only people like us. They only have 24 hours in a day. They make promises, and then those promises get magnified by the media. And then all of a sudden we're like, this guy's going to save us. And it's like, no, we're going to save us, So it's like,
I was just going to say, then the other thing I wanted to say out there too, which was a point that was brought up in something I was listening to, was, and how many of us even really understand how long-term care facilities work until someone in our family has to go to one.
Yeah.
I took a tour of nursing homes, and it was not pleasant. And these were the ones you had to pay for, and they were like the better ones. There was one we saw that was okay, but I was like, there was one that was like, it was supposed to, they're like, hey, we cook Italian food. And then nobody's hair was brushed and people stunk. And I was like, and then you compare the cost of that to have somebody live in your house, and it's more expensive there. And you're like, why would I do that?
Well, the profit's got to come from somewhere, Sandra. Right?
Yeah,
the profit comes from somewhere. And let's bear in mind the 5 facilities in Ontario that the military went into were all for-profit facilities.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
They were all for-profit facilities. None of them were city or provincial run units. They were all private.
And you were being, nice when you were describing what they found, because I also heard the reports, and it was like deplorable conditions.
Like what else? Say.
Oh no, just like, diapers not being changed for days, patients being left in hallways alone or in their rooms alone with like their food trays just rotting outside their rooms. And
there were facilities that didn't follow their own disaster plans. Like there were 2 of the facilities that had written policies about what they were supposed to do, and they didn't do it. Things as simple as, if someone tests positive for the virus, separate them from other people who are negative for the virus.
And they were letting people who were positive walk around wards.
And stay in the same rooms as everybody. And right now, for long-term care facilities in Ontario, this blew my mind, you only have to meet a 1972 building standard and code to be able to be approved. So some of these private care facilities, because they're in it for the money, they don't do any upgrades. And the 1972 standard is you can have 4 residents in a room with 1 bathroom. So there were some of these facilities where there's 4 people in a room, there's 1 bathroom, and they're not separating people who are sick.
And
It's been 10 minutes. Time to change the subject now. 10 minutes. Time to change the subject right now.
Oh, yeah.
Goddamn subject, right?
I want to be in Venice right now.
oh my God. I just wanted to say one drop on that, just that also the people who work there are making minimum wage, and they worked multiple places, which is why it's spread like that too. And if you're making like $13 an hour, it sounds like the bosses are all assholes. And they were probably like, I can't do this. They probably were running around. It was crazy. Who knows? I don't even know. It sounds horrible.
It's kind of like collusion between the facilities too, because it sounds like there's enough hours at each individual facility. They're just rotating people between them so they can pay them part-time hours and not give them any benefits.
Yeah. Oh my God. And to that, on that note, we got our girl. I know we could talk a whole episode about this, and we might just. Our next story comes to you from Carol Zolkoli.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's it. That's what we are all asking. So a couple of newspapers, like international newspaper, they all wrote histories and editorials about Bolsonaro this week, because what's going on in Brazil right now, I think it's why I'm bringing this up here so often is that because I think we should observe and understand where can all this madness go, because this like extreme right wing thinking, like is the extreme there. They're like the example. So I think we should all be seeing what is happening there. And what is happening there now is that he's not taking care of the pandemic at all. It's simply like there's been 2 weeks that we don't have a health minister, because he wants the health minister to sign a paper saying that all the doctors have to give hydrochloric, I don't know how to say that in English, but chloroxine, I don't know, the little pill.
The malaria drug.
Liquid gold.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, so he fires everyone because doctors, they don't want to sign this paper. So we don't have a minister of health. Like we don't have no one is in charge. And the pandemic is going, and is affecting everyone. For example, my mom yesterday, she is a 75-year-old woman, old lady, a Bolsonaro supporter. And because he opened everything, like yesterday she escaped. She literally planned the escape, and she escaped to get her nails done. Can you believe that?
Oh my God.
Escaping to get it's funny, right? Of course I'm super worried, but I mean it's fucked up. So it's like we think like, oh no, this guy is doing something and so far away. No, actually it affects our lives. And I think in Canada we should not take it for granted. You know, we have to be aware and make those movements, those extreme movements stop, like from the beginning. Like There's no like, it's shut up. It's quite
Yeah.
there. It's really, really, really sad. We have 25,000 people that now. The infection is like it's everywhere. There's no isolation. There's like it's the country is running like as if nothing was happening.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's not true because there's some governors from the provinces and states and the mayors, they are fighting very hard, but the federal government is against them. So they're doing whatever they can, and they are fighting very hard. But I mean, there's no like they don't have any. They cannot do any policies.
That's insane.
That's more or less identical to the United States from
Exactly. It's more extreme.
Yeah, just regional governments fighting the federal government to try to do the right thing. And I totally agree with you, Carol. Is that wingnut thinking is dangerous to every government, because look at what you end up with: a malignant clown show instead of a government. And supporting those lunatics is dangerous.
It is. It is like we have like some people. We have like there's 300 people that they are armed, trained, and they are like saying that they are gonna take power. They're gonna fight for Bolsonaro. If someone, it's crazy. The press, they don't go out to the. How can I say, like the house of the president, in the Capitol, where they go like every morning, where the president goes and speaks. The
what do they call it?
The press is not
the press room.
The press meetings, like the every morning.
Pressers.
Yeah. So the press, the journalists, they're not going anymore because Bolsonaro supporters were beating them up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we are now. It's crazy.
It's the opportunity to dissolve democracy.
Yeah.
Exactly, but it is and it is the same system. If you take a look, because I'm so involved, like of course in American politics and Brazilian politics, it is the same system. You can see that there's a mind behind all of this extreme wing movements all around the world, because they have the same way of behavior. I've seen like Bolsonaro doing things, and then Trump does the same thing 2 days later, or
Right. I think it's just that it's bipartisan, like, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. There's like it's the same people apparently behind. I don't know, the same thought, the same. There is,
Well, I think there's a sense of like there's this thing here I'm going to nerd out. There's this thing called transnational theory, and it basically means that people will go with the cliques that they're in, right? And so that governments aren't really the biggest actors in politics. And so between nations, there will be cliques of people who kind of, they're like, okay, well, we are our own like clique. This is our objective. And it's not meant to be like a conspiracy theory. It's just meant to be that power elites will try to get together, just like, and that's been repeated, like royalty reaching out to each other. They're just alliances, right? They're just mobs. They're just different mafias, Sandra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the deep state. Like, you know what I mean? It's
it all comes back, doesn't it?
Those deep actors who manipulate, like what sounds in Brazil. They manipulate a situation where the country does not want what the people are doing. Like, they don't want what the president is doing. They're not right wing. They want health care. It's like all the mayors are fighting the federal. Like, what is that? That's totalitarianism.
It is. And yesterday with the Minnesota riots, like I've seen a lot of movement on Twitter from black influencers or black historians and intellectuals, like showing pictures of the riots, the Minnesota riots, and saying this is what we should be doing. You know.
This is the civil. I didn't see the protests. I didn't see protests yesterday. What happened?
My
I had to turn off yesterday.
I'll be on.
It's been 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. It's time to change the subject, the subject, the subject. You know it's been 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. It's time to change the subject, the subject, the subject.
We were in the middle of something. What was that? It was so good.
It was good, but it's like dance party time.
Oh my God!
Dance party time. And you know what? The song is very fitting.
I chose this.
Can totally need a miracle. Here it comes.
Yeah. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. Right? Oh my God. We need, you know what we need? Now we need to be together in some way. Like I'm on the edge.
Scissoring?
Yeah. Like I heard this great, like scissoring. Yes. Like I heard this.
The political scissoring show.
Political scissoring is really good.
I'm into
that.
Oh, I'm going to write that down.
I'm in for a trim. I'm in for a trim.
Are you interested in scissoring? Are you also interested in politics? Well,
have we got the club for you?
There's something. Oh no, we're moving on. Guys, we're moving on to my brother lover of another, Phil Luzzi.
Thank you, my sister. So guys, this picture, one of several that became famous in the last, little while, because, when I saw it, I just kind of went like, fuck, we're as dumb as Americans. And it made me sad for a second. And it still is kind of sad. And now everyone that was there is being told to quarantine. And now, like I heard on the news today, that there is no Toronto neighborhood that has not been affected by COVID-19, meaning there is somebody with COVID-19 in every single neighborhood in Toronto. And it's getting a little bit too close to what's happening in the States, I think, just for a second. And it scared me a little bit. And I don't know. I just we had to discuss it. I mean, it's something that's happening in our city. And, A, do we know anybody that went to this park on that day? And B, would you judge them if they did?
I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge people. I mean, but I can't help it.
Sometimes they make you.
When I saw that photo, I got really sad. It was like that, and then Floyd, I was like, I can't. But then I realized, I was like, okay, you know what? Don't buy into that point of view, because I made it mean like, oh, we're gonna go down in lockdown again. Like, there's so much information coming out. Like Bonnie out in BC, Dr. Bonnie is like, now we need to learn to live with the virus. So, but you're right. Just here, it felt like the economy was opening too quick, but I don't know. I'm just trying to follow my own rhythm and like go where I need to go. But my one of my energy healers, who's actually a medical doctor, I went to see her yesterday. I got a healing from her. It was miraculous. It was amazing. But she said that, she's getting all the medical information. That vitamin D3, we need to be taking vitamin D3 and zinc. And that some of the people who've been hit the hardest by corona are have a hard time metabolizing D3. And it's also part of the Canadian guidelines that we should all be doing that. But she also said, we were talking about a virus, and she's like, I was like, I don't know if there's going to, a vaccine. I'm like, I don't know if there's going to be a vaccine. And she said, well, there's no vaccine for the cold. There's no vaccine for HIV. And then she said that the cold is a coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have a vaccine for a coronavirus.
It's not gonna. Anyways, it's just that you start to see all this information moving and contradicting, and I don't know. It's very confusing. It's not coordinated. What happened in Toronto was really irresponsible of the city and John Tory, but I don't want to judge the guy either. I'm sure he's really busy. But somebody.
But They were just saying everything they were doing was actually within the guidelines that came, right? They were all following guidelines, apparently.
The people in the
Those
park.
people,
close.
they seem like they were way too close.
They were
I know.
way too
They weren't
close.
following, like they lived, all those people lived with each other. That's what I found the hardest to believe. I'm like, all these bitches, these 10
Yeah.
bitches live with each other? I don't
And
think
now
so.
they painted these big white circles on the grass.
Good.
Now, I
Now,
just want
that's
to go there and have a
huge.
giant game of King's Court or something.
I wanted to know how badly these people want to slackline that they're willing to get like COVID. They're like whatever it takes.
Right.
But
Because
I'll say this, Phil. You could that park is huge. You could have definitely gone to that park in social distance if you chose to do so. You know, like all those people were together, but you know that park's many square kilometers. You could be off to the side and not have that much
Absolutely.
to do with anyone. You know, you could have.
But they should have
Do you
never.
think it was
opened
kind of
that.
a revolt? Like, do you think they were kind of rebelling?
I don't think they were that smart for that.
Yeah,
It is definitely openly flouting the distancing kind of regulations.
Right.
It's definitely you're staying in a pack of people. You know that.
Right. Exactly.
Because people don't believe there's some people that just don't believe that they need to social distance, and you know, they don't believe that, or that they're not going to get it.
I think they do. I think they do. I think it's denial. Like they
Yeah.
they know, but they are like, fuck it. It's just like when people like have sex with strangers with no condom. You know, like they know.
That it's not. Yeah. Exactly. That's a good example.
Yeah, they know it's not a good idea, but they're like, well,
It's denial. Like fuck it. I'm gonna do. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got a cute top.
Yeah.
Like I gotta
They're like,
say this.
Tonight's the night we're gonna make
Yeah.
it happen.
I don't buy these hamburger buns for nothing, guys.
Maybe because I don't live on the west side, and I love Trinity Bell. I love that park. I love going. I like to shop out there.
I don't love Trinity Bellwoods.
What's that?
People love Trinity Bellwoods. I don't love Trinity Bellwoods.
I don't
a
either.
lawn. There's some trees. There's some grass. We
There's so
have
much
these things in many, many places
Yeah.
in the city.
I've never once said,
You know what I
I should
mean?
do today? Go to Trinity Bellwoods, hang out there. I never looked at the park and said, here's a place to hang out. No.
You got the
That's
squirrel. Okay, move on.
You know, but during a pandemic, like who the fuck is like, this is what, you know, I took a walk last week out here at night and it was nice. It was like, the only thing that was open was the park, and people were there, but very far away, and kids were playing in the thing. And I was like, this is nice. This is acceptable. I feel good. And then I see that thing in Trinity Bellwoods, and I just got so sad. And then I was like, yeah.
sometimes you get caught up in it though. Like I got into a little bit of a crowd of people when we were all standing around looking at a tow truck burn, and I got caught up in the got caught up in the moment, and I was like, oh, I'm too close to people. I gotta get out of here. And so, you know, if you took a picture of me there, I would have looked like a jerk.
Fair. You just, you know, even if you're at a truck fire, you still got a distance. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel.
I guess the old saying that says everything is always happening all at the same time, right?
It's been 10 minutes, 10 minutes. You know it's been 10 minutes. Yeah, it's been 10 minutes.
Let you hear your body rock, your body talk. Let me hear your body rock. Is it body rock or body talk?
Let me hear your body talk.
Oh my God.
Talk,
Guys,
yeah.
next is, and last is Monty Scott. Take it away, brother.
Oh, Sandra. Well, I guess we talked a little bit about Doug Ford, and this is along the lines of Doug Ford as well. What I find kind of amusing, I guess, is that Ontario's been trying to increase the testing. They're like, we're going to get to 16,000 tests, and it's just amazing when you have a benchmark that the province is trying to reach. And then, amazingly, our province has missed it every fucking time. We just continually, rampantly miss the benchmark. And then we actually raised the benchmark to 20,000. Although we never really make 10,000. Although they did today. Apparently they made 17,000 today. But pretty much regularly, they come in at about 8,000 or 9,000. But they just keep raising the benchmark to, I guess, fail worse. I don't really know I don't know what they're doing, but I wanted to get your thoughts on if anyone knows or anyone has any idea. Are we gonna what's Toronto? What's Ontario's progress of getting these testing, and why is the testing at 8,000 when they have the capacity to do like 20,000?
Well, I think that's what they're basing their numbers on, is like what they're able to do, like the testing kits, but the people to administer these tests don't exist. So they can't reach those numbers. In actuality, it's only in theory. It's like, in theory, we can because we have the kits, but we can't apply it because we don't have the fucking healthcare workers because, oh, I cut them. I forgot.
That's crazy. Like in theory, you could have a surgery, but we don't have a doctor.
So, in theory, I could go to space.
Yeah.
Theoretically speaking.
Yeah. Theoretically, we could totally fix you, but
I feel like that
matters. No way. Yeah.
I feel like it's a media move from the Ford government. Like, more tests. And it's like, you know how much you can do. Like, what the fuck are you? It's like he's just doing the, I don't know. I don't think he's being, I don't think doesn't want it to be like that, but he's just saying it, but it makes people believe that he's about to make it happen. And how is he going to make it happen?
He's maybe
that he's doing something.
Maybe he's visualizing. Who knows?
Maybe it's on his vision board.
Yeah.
That would be amazing if he came out and said, listen, guys, we've been trying a lot of different things. I'm going to do this on the secret. I'm just going to hope for the best. I believe it's happening. That's how Trump is running the pandemic response, based on the secret. And it's kind of hard to, it's like I say, similar to the US, is that you keep saying we got to do better, but then you don't do anything. And you don't do better, and you're like, I don't know. We said we should do better.
Yeah.
Why hasn't it happened? So I mean, at some point,
because
we
they
definitely,
want the
as a province, need to test better.
Well, the other thing about testing though is it doesn't mean that like you get tested today, but then you show negative, and then tomorrow you get coronavirus. It's like the testing is not necessarily. I don't know. I think that I don't know what it can tell. Can it tell?
Well,
because
I mean, at least if you test a lot of people, you're gonna get more results than if you don't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought you were alluding to Trump's strategy of, if we didn't test anyone, nobody would have it.
Yeah. No. I don't mean. No, I'm just saying that, like, if it's a kind of, who knows, like, there's all the group of people who maybe we've all had it. Like, it's possible we all had it.
And
that's what they say.
Yeah, and they keep saying the numbers are not accurate, that they're way higher than any of us are seeing, regardless of what reports we're hearing. And Russia is obviously lying, because if you look at their deaths to cases ratios compared to other countries, they must have a miracle cure that they're not telling everybody about, because their numbers don't add up, or a very high immune system.
Even with the numbers they have, they're 3. Now, because number 1 is the US, number 2 is Brazil. And then number 3 is Russia.
It's a big country.
Russia's 3 in cases and like 50th in deaths, because they're amazing, apparently.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil, I was looking at a lot of those countries. There's numerous countries that have a huge amount of cases and just mysteriously no deaths. Very few deaths. It's crazy. I was just like, come on, guys.
Like, what's the level of accountability? Is there a global, pact among, medical professionals that you swear to be honest about information and share cures and vaccines if the world is in trouble? Is there such an oath?
I don't think every country is taking that friggin' oath.
WHO, you think? Yeah.
The WHO is very corrupt too. But I mean,
yeah, that is the one thing about Canada's cases. I think when you look at the death rate that we have in Canada, the one thing you'd have to say is probably we're being honest about it, and that's a factor in it. Looks like Canada's doing worse than maybe some countries, but you're like, obviously these countries are probably pretty much lying.
Yeah.
You know what I don't understand about them? Why would they not lie about the amount of cases, just to even it out, to make the lie seem a little bit more? How are you going to say I have 400,000 cases and then 2 deaths?
Right.
You could have just said you had 4,000 cases. I mean,
I think the population thinks the virus is not strong. It's just like a flu.
Like, a lot of people have it and it won't kill you.
It won't kill you.
And like, when you were saying, why don't they want to share the information? I think it's like, we're being honest. I mean, probably not everywhere, but we're being honest. But it's just like that thing where in your family something bad happens and they say, "Don't tell anybody." You know what I mean? We don't want anybody to think it.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. Like people like Russia is just like, yeah, no, we're very strong. You know what I mean? Like they're, we don't die from corona, and it's like, no, you're motherfucking dying. Like,
Yeah, they were like, you want us to look like pussies? What the hell? We can't post all these deaths.
Well, I think there's a political motivation for not helping your population either, because maybe it's the people who'd be fighting for healthcare who are the people that you kind of want to get rid of anyway. So maybe if you just don't help the people, then you know what I mean? I just feel like I think there are some people who are just they're being opportunistic about the crisis to move things a little to the right.
Oh,
and
the meetings, the Bolsonaro with his minister meetings was leaked. And then the minister of how can I say, the climate, not climate, but like
Environment
minister, the minister of environment literally said, let's because the media only talks about COVID now, so let's take advantage of it to move forward the laws we want to pass to allow people to bring the Amazon down and mining in the Amazon and everything. I literally said that.
Yeah, when people are distracted.
Yeah, like take advantage of that.
Well, that's what's going to make more disasters, right? Like, as you do that, like, it's just so funny you should say that, Carol. Like, I learned today, I found out that there are literally 5 full existing ecosystems left on Earth. So there's only 5, and one of them is in Canada.
Wow.
It's the boreal forest that we have. And for the amount of acreage that we have, we are the second largest for land ecosystem and the second largest for marine ecosystem.
Wow.
And the largest freshwater supply.
Yeah. So really, we really need to particularly pay attention to our environment here and the pipelines and stuff, because it's just going to lead to more problems if we don't protect it. It's our own lungs. It's our own lungs of North America.
Yeah.
And what makes it, one thing that I think, it is a very negative thinking, but I think, like, because we are so close to America, and when, like, if the world becomes like really like Mad Max, and people want water and everything, like those fucking Americans gonna want to come up here and
with guns.
Guns, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Well, it's definitely an issue when you have a lot of what the world wants in a Mad Max scenario. That's always a bit of an issue.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And you know what, guys? We don't need another hero.
We
10 minutes. You know it's time to change the subject now.
It's question period.
Question period.
I love question period.
Ooh.
Okay, what do we have? I just wanted to say, though, about like what's going on right now. Okay, we'll wait for a question. That all this maneuvering is going on while we are being told to stay at home and socially distant with masks on our faces. They disconnected us from gathering, from doing stuff. And like, I understand. I'm not saying we should be gathering in thousands. I'm not that. But that this is what's going on while all this shit's happening. It's like, now is time, like, we can open it up. And it might get like, and I was like, what if there wasn't a second wave? I thought of that just as a possibility. Is it? Everyone's saying no. I'm just saying, like, what other possibilities exist? I don't want to go into a second wave of the first wave I just went through. So I'll try to make my second wave different. You know what I mean? But insisting, though, that I get to do this, like, I get to be around people in a certain way, because forcing us to be apart that way, and the way that it was done on some level, and I know that they were just trying to figure it out. Yeah. But this is what's been going on around the world.
We're vulnerable. You're right. We're vulnerable.
But we have all the
we need
power.
to be more political. Well, that's what we have to realize, right? Yeah. It's a consciousness thing and getting real about shit.
It's happening, man. Don't you feel it? Like, people are fucking pumping.
We got to make it happen, Sandra. Is this our like little revolution clique?
Minimum
Yes.
wage and no benefits also means they go into work sick.
Yes.
Oh, we're going back to talking about the long-term healthcare workers. Absolutely.
Yes, and what that also brings up is this week a topic that we didn't get to is the proposal that's put forward by the current government to guarantee Canadians 10 paid days off
sick leave.
Sick leave.
Oh, they're doing
So
it?
that, well, it looks like because of
Yeah.
Jagmeet Singh and the NDP to vote along with the Liberals pushed Trudeau into saying we're not going to go forward with anything until you guarantee 10 paid days off. And I'm like, that's better than any job I've ever had in my life to have.
Yeah.
Like,
10
just
paid
that,
days off.
that just made me realize that the fact that you would go to a job and do this kind of work, especially that kind of work, with no benefits. It's like, this is why I always, it's like that prophecy. It's like you go back to Mother Earth. This is how we're going to move forward. Because, like, think about it. Would a mother ever not give her children 10 days of benefits? Whoa. Like, right? That's how we love each other. This is how we support each other. If you go to work and you get benefits and you're paid right, then you're like, I feel better. But there's a system that people believed was like, no, let's turn all that off so we can get more money. And what, for this volatility? For this sickness? It's fucking stupid.
SC Marissa says we can do a lot to fix the planet in Canada.
We can plant trees and affect hugely positive environmental change if we choose. Water pipelines to the US. It's been on the political table for years. Yes, and that's my sister. Hi.
Marissa.
Marisa.
Marissa.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah, we should take our water back from Nestle. What's that bullshit?
Oh, that is just
Oh
too
my
much.
God.
That just feels like sick. It's sick.
That is the one
Disgusting.
product I actually go out of my way to never buy is Nestle. It's the only one.
Absolutely.
Never.
Any kind of bottled water.
Oh, yeah. Well, Phil,
really?
actually, just my natural cheapness makes me, I'm like, why am I going to pay for water in a bottle? You lost your goddamn mind?
What were you saying, Carol? Carol, what were you saying?
No, I was just agreeing. Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And also, like, while we're talking about water and what we should be doing in the environment and everything else, part of that, the planet healing itself, which should mean people getting their fucking asses in gears and doing some shit about some things, is why don't First Nations people have clean goddamn water? You have enough to sell to fucking Nestle?
Don't
Yeah, that's
eat
insane.
that noise. The only people who should be bottling water for convenience in certain situations is the fucking government. And on the bottle, it should say water from the Magnetawan River in Ontario. Water from Nestle? Suck a dick, bro. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, yeah, suck a dick so then you have more.
There can be a very positive, cultured way to suck a dick, Sandra. I'm with you.
Yeah. I think all of us practice this. We practice cultured dick pumping. We're at the end of our
consensual, loving way.
We're at the end of our broadcast.
Yeah, a minute and a half left, so let's shout outs, yo.
Those questions, like, we had that question period was amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks
guys,
for too.
this has been Soft Left. We're here every Thursday at 7 p.m. and then it lives online. So this is our 5th episode. I want to thank the panel: Phil Luzzi, Carol Zoccoli, Monty Scott, Candice Gregory. And join us here every Thursday, and the rest of you guys can say your shout outs.
Shout it out.
Phil.
You know what? I'm just gonna shout out a show I've been watching on HBO Max called Legendary, and I recommend it for a good.
I watched the first episode. It's good. I watched the first one.
So yeah, that's just for fun. That's all my shout outs.
I love that. Carol.
I'm just gonna shout out myself and ask you guys to follow me on Instagram. Here's my handle, Zoccoli Carol. Yeah.
Peace be with you. Monty Scott.
What do I want to shout out? Well, Monty Mofo Scott on Twitter, Instagram, or any of those things. The Impetus of Everything, my podcast. Check that out. And well, I've already been bringing up the leg of lamb every week. That's a good deal. But they got rib chops over at the Metro. I think it's like $4 a pound. Not bad. Pretty good.
This is a dream to have food like the Italian Channel. Candy Gregory.
I guess talking about eco stuff, like go ecojustice.ca. I want to shout out.
Yeah.
They're fighting for our environment right now.
Yes.
And guys, you can support Soft Left by donating to the show. We are a donor-supported show. And if you'd like to be a sponsor, go to softleft@gmail.com. On the bottom, we will sponsor. We would love to be sponsors of anything that is of justice, quality, and loving hearts.
Boom.
Thank you so much. I'm Sandra Bettolini and Soft Left.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Woo-hoo. Guys.